You are now tuned in to the War Party Paranormal Radio Show, where we will be discussing actual audio and visual clips captured during the team's investigations. Hear firsthand eyewitness accounts from fellow team members and special guests. Now smash that like, subscribe, and follow button, and let's get ready to welcome team leader and your host, Eric Vanderlaan, and tech specialist and co-host, Mike Del Coro.
What is up, my paranormal people? Happy Monday. I'm Eric Vanderlaan. I'm your host of the War Party Paranormal Radio Show and team leader of War Party Paranormal Research. And right over here, I have...
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Mike Del Coro. I am a tech specialist, case manager, and investigator with War Party Paranormal and your co-host. We got a great show for you guys tonight, and I'm going to let Eric tell you what we're getting into.
Yeah, we do. We got a special guest tonight. She's actually sort of local. She's in Florida, and her name is Blair Bathory, and she's a filmmaker. She does documentaries on just horror films. She does it all, and I don't know if you ever follow her on Instagram, but you gotta definitely follow her on Instagram because she has some amazing reels. She goes to some crazy places. So I got a little intro I'm going to play, and then we're going to bring her on.
All right, let's do it.
If I can find it. There we go. Bam.
Hi, I'm Blair. For the last decade, I have worked as a documentary and horror movie filmmaker. I travel the world to find the spookiest locations, people, and stories to share with you. If you love horror films, paranormal investigations, dark tourism, cemeteries, scary stories, and you live the spooky life like me, let's be friends.
Pretty cool, right?
Very cool.
Yeah, so check her out. So I'm not going to waste any time, and we'll bring her on after she puts down her coffee. Hey, Blair, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, Blair.
Hi,
how we doing?
guys. Good. Thanks for having me. Thanks for playing my silly little intro. I was bopping in the background.
They're awesome. I like
That was
it.
great.
Very cool. I see
Kitty.
Wheezy.
Wheezy's here.
He looks
It's
like
the
my
most-
cat.
It's the most friendliest cat you'll ever meet. But
Yeah, my cat's a little baby. So
Come on.
so anyway, the reason why I asked you on the show is you like go to some crazy ass haunted places. So why don't you tell the people here in the chat and that are listening, what do you do?
Hi everybody out there in the world. My name is Blair Bathory, and I am a full-time filmmaker and documentarian. And I also dabble in, I guess, paranormal investigation, but I am the documentarian. So I work with paranormal investigators to document their findings. But I've been in the genre space as a filmmaker for almost 15 years now. So yeah.
Very
very
cool.
cool.
And how can they find your work? Like,
You can find me literally anywhere on the internet. Actually, Google has officially verified me as a social media influencer, which is really funny. But yeah, Blair Bathory across all socials, and I mean all socials. I'm everywhere. And I also now host the long-running Something Scary podcast, which is 6 years running. I've been the host for about a year with another paranormal investigator, Stephanie Strange. And
Very
I can
cool.
talk later about a really cool investigation her and I did.
Awesome.
But we have 3 million monthly listeners on that podcast, and I just tell scary stories. So, yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're a Florida girl, and you're near Jacksonville, actually, and also near St. Augustine, which is considered one of the most haunted places in the U.S. So, what are some of the haunted places that you've been there that is like one of your favorites, like one thing that pops out of your head?
In Florida, so I was born and raised in Atlantic Beach, which is basically Jacksonville, Duval County, go Jaguars. But I haven't lived in Florida in almost a decade. So I live in Atlanta now, but I'm pretty
Atlanta.
nomadic hot Atlanta. I'm pretty nomadic, but I've lived in LA. I've lived in rural Tennessee.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, y'all have seen my stuff. I'm always on the road traveling. But, you know, before I started doing what I called micro documentaries, which is all the stuff I post on my socials, I hadn't really researched the spooky locations around where I've lived in Florida, which is mostly Jacksonville, the beaches, and Apopka, where my grandmother lives. And I can get into the story about why I started making this digital content. But before that, in 2021, I was staying with my grandmother for an extended period of time. And I just started researching. And what I found was basically in every direction in Apopka, I could find a spooky place or a haunted location within 5 miles. I also found, because I do also film true crime sites as well. Basically anything that's fringe, dark tourism, haunted, cemeteries, anything spooky, basically.
Blair, we got the place for you.
I'm stoked, man. Yeah, when I come down, we're gonna hang out.
The Devil's Tree.
Oh yeah, I've been talking to. I don't know if y'all know Cam, but she also is a spooky influencer. Yeah. I wanted to go with her and film a whole documentary.
She came out and investigated with us a couple times.
Yeah.
We actually, I reached out to the author, Keith Rommel, of a couple of the Doubletree books, and he's been investigating it for 10 years. And he's been out there with us. So we kind of actually know
crime scene investigating.
He has some of the crime scene photos. He showed us the actual real tree. The tree that you see that everybody goes to is not actually the tree where the women were killed. It's actually right down a little bit.
They call it the locals tree.
Yeah, they call the other one the locals tree, but there's actually the real tree where the murders took place. And we actually have the spot where the victims' parts were found. I dug really deep into all this and everything because I thought it interests me, because you have like a perfect storm of paranormal, satanic worship, true crime, a really sick individual, that serial killer that's very fascinating to me, and it's all local in Florida to us. So yeah, definitely we have a lot of knowledge on that place.
Very active. We gotten some crazy stuff there. Yeah.
Shit. Well, we'll have to
relate to the history too. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to shoot a doc out there. That would be epic. But as far as some of my favorite locations, in Apopka, there's so much cool stuff. So the house that the infamous vampire clan murders happened is really close to where my grandmother lived. But there's also this
by Gainesville.
No, Apopka's like an hour south of Disney World.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's just a little tiny kind of country town. It was known for the orange groves back in the day. But
I have property by there near St. Cloud. It's actually called Hollow Pond.
Yeah. So that area is really interesting because there's a lot of old homes there. And there's this one location that is an old, essentially Victorian mansion in Apopka, and it was once owned by a doctor. And the history of it is the wife killed one of the doctor's former employees in this house. And so it's famously really haunted. And
oh, wow.
I'm blanking on the name. It'll come to me in a second. But it's this beautiful Victorian house. And when I was a little girl, my grandmother actually used to take me to go Easter egg hunting at this property because they have this massive estate and this beautiful yard. But when I started researching, haunted locations, that was the number one that came up. But it's cool because I have that association from growing up there.
Right.
There's this other place called the Witch House, or the
Mhm.
Plymouthonian House number 3, which is this incredible witch's cottage in Mount Plymouth, which is very close to Apopka as well. And it literally looks like a witch cottage from a Disney film. And it was made by this eccentric architect back in the 40s. And actually, the Chicago mob ran this town as like a golfing retreat at one point.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so just a ton of history. But also, this woman went missing in this house who was supposedly a witch as well. So I really like that place. One, because the house itself is just so cool. But just the story with the Chicago mob and all that is awesome. So those are two of my favorite places.
Well, Mike and I are going to have to pick your brain for locations in Florida. That seems like an amazing place that I would love to look into.
I have so many, like I have a running list at this point, not just in Florida, just all over the world, of like 5,000 locations.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm going to have to start selling that list because it's gotten like massive.
Yeah. You should do some like type of website subscription. Get your sites on Florida right now.
Honestly, I've been thinking of doing like a newsletter or something.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Because I mean, I've just done the due diligence and found all these places, and I've gotten really good at, well, I have a background in producing as well. So I'm just good at finding out information that's not readily available.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure.
And you've been to Casadega as well, right?
Oh yeah. I grew up going there. My mother and grandmother would take me there growing up and get readings and all kinds of stuff. So,
and have you ever checked out the Ann Stevens house? We did an investigation there. We actually filmed a show for Univision, the Latin network.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of it. I have not been there yet.
You got to check it out. The
Yeah.
owners there are super, super nice.
Super nice.
Very affordable. And very active. I mean, there's a spirit of a woman that used to hang out with Ann Stevens when she was a little girl. And she ended up living like, I don't know, into her 90s and passed away, but her child spirit is there. And it's like, her name is Marjorie, and we can like anything that's like a toy type device, especially the music box that senses motion. The spirit plays with it like on cue. It's crazy. It like blew my mind away. So we're definitely going to go back there.
Yeah, she is very nice, the owner. Like I went there, I didn't make it to when they were filming, but I was driving by and I stopped and I kind of hopped out and I was taking a couple pictures, and she come walking out and I said, yeah, I'm part of War Party. I didn't make it for this. She's like, oh, you're part of... She's like, you want to take a look inside? You want to come in? Come on, let's go look around. I was like, oh, awesome, thank you.
That's awesome.
I think we blew their mind away when we were there too.
Yes, it was really nice. It was cool of her.
It makes such a difference when like the owners of haunted properties are like cool.
And
they have their own equipment. Like
that's awesome.
When they saw the coffin, the music box coffin, they ended up buying one.
Very cool.
Like, I gotta get that for Marjorie.
Yeah, because I've experienced owners that are very hesitant to have me or other investigators there, but then people like the Ann Stevens people are just like, yeah, come on, like let's hunt ghosts.
The owner is actual psychic medium. And there's a portal right in the middle of the property, and it's funny, like those like old school like Christmas decorations that you put on your yard of the the hard plastic like deer reindeer that lights there's like a light inside. Well, they have something like that, but it's like a dog, and they turn it into a REM pod where it can sense like EMF, and the thing is like always going off for no reason. It's pretty wild.
Creepy. That's cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. It makes a big difference when the owners of the location are into it. Like our whole team became really good friends with Henry Lee at the Gilchrist County Jail. He just purchased it like a couple of years ago, and he's all about it and always inviting us back to do events and everything. And is it Kelly at the Shanley Hotel too? She bought it when the last owner passed away. She was an investigator there. and now she loves it. She's awesome. So yeah, it's definitely nice when you can come across owners that are into the field.
Yeah,
Totally.
I definitely want to check out the Casadega Hotel next time. We actually did a residential after we filmed at Ann Stevens. Had a house like just down the street from the hotel. Pretty
DJ
crazy.
said she wants a REM unicorn.
There you go.
Nice.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I haven't slept there, but the Casadega Hotel is definitely super active and like strong energy there for sure.
And we actually I don't know if you like the age of spiritualism type things, like seances and
Yeah.
What's it called, the table levitating. Well, we have a lady on our team that can channel her energy, and she introduced us into table tipping when we were at Casadega, which is really cool. It's actually she goes to antique stores and she gets these little like round end tables. They're 3-legged, and the ones that she has purchased is like whenever she like walks by it, she feels a physical connection. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna buy this. And basically what it is like you rest your fingertips on the table, maybe like 3 people, and it starts moving around. She channels the energy. It can go sideways, can tip over, and you're looking at it, and I'm like, come on, they're like using their fingers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The first time I saw it like on video, I was like, this is BS. I'm like, come on, man. Right. But then we did it at the Gold Coast Railroad Museum, where it's like we had a lot of room and we had guests out because we were doing a public event, and they were jumping on the table and everything. And I seen this dude that was like just jacked, right? And he was like doing it, and he had his fingertips barely on it, and they were moving around and running around, and the guy stopped, and he's like trying to catch his breath, and I'm looking at him, and he has like veins popping out of his head and shit. And I'm like, dude, what do you have to say about that? He's like, dude, I don't know, man, this is wild. Like, and that kind of changed my perception. And I videoed the whole thing, and I was like up in it, like close, like looking at it and everything, and it really is wild. So yeah, it was different.
Yeah, I did it, or I didn't participate because I was filming it, but I witnessed a seance at the Bel Air House in Ohio.
Okay.
There's been a book written about the demon activity in this house, and I didn't really believe in seances either, but then that house affected the investigators I was with more than any other location I've ever been to the point where everybody was ready to leave. And it was Becky Galentine and Blogoween and some pretty active investigators, but all females. And it was a very, I would say, dramatic, emotional weekend at that damn house.
Sure.
Wow.
And it started with the seance. So I believe in that stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing I want to do is a good old seance.
Yeah. We got to get Patty out to do one with us. Patty and Agree. I know they did one when you guys were at PEX, but I wasn't there for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I want to take part in that. I just want to like investigate. I want to like check my equipment and do EVPs, like why people are doing it.
Yeah, we got a really good EVP Becky did on her equipment. I think it was the same night as the seance, where it was like an immediate response from a spirit that basically said, yes, we want to communicate. And she has that footage on her socials. But yeah, Bel Air House was wild. Ohio as a whole, everywhere I've gone in Ohio is trippy.
Yeah, I like to hit up Ohio State
Penitentiary?
Reformatory.
Oh, reformatory, yeah.
Yeah, so that was really interesting. So I've been there, and I actually was working on a crew for a horror movie, and I was hired as the lead documentarian, and I filmed the entire behind the scenes of the movie. And I was with these people for 3 months in Ohio, and one of the scenes was in Ohio State Pen, and they rented it out for 2 nights, overnight shoots. So we were in that prison by ourselves. So it was just like 100 people on this film crew. But because I was kind of like my own department, like I didn't have to stay with the rest of the crew, I could walk around the prison by myself. And I have some wild footage from that, just walking around filming, in random sections of the prison, like orbs and stuff. And that place is scary as hell at night,
bet.
like by yourself walking around that
Yeah,
damn
I like
prison.
those kind of places.
Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, I've been there, and Madison Seminary was I went there with Kalani, Ghost Hunter, and Charisse and Sydney Blogoween again. And we got some really interesting stuff there. And actually, Charisse saw several shadow figures that night. I have that documentary on my YouTube right now.
Very nice.
Fun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you hear that, guys? Make sure you go check that out for sure. Now, I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it or anything. Is there you have any projects that you're working on currently, or?
Oh yeah. I am one of those people that is spinning plates at all times. Like anybody that's worked with me.
Any movies or anything?
Yeah. So I'm working on a TV show that isn't paranormal, but it's definitely spooky. With a pretty big horror film writer, director, and then working on a feature, and that's going to be sick. Working on a couple of short films. I'm producing a short film for another director, working on a short film that I would direct. And that one actually is really interesting because it's with a fairly well-known photographer that documents the South and Southern culture. I'm really about doing stuff about the South. Kind of what we were talking about before we went live is I have like this mission to prove like Florida is more than Disney World and alligators. Like there's a beauty to Florida I think a lot of people don't understand, and like I said before, a mysticism. So yeah, I'm working on all kinds of stuff, but then for something scary, I have a documentary series called Fright Scene, which the first 2 episodes came out with Stephanie Strange doing a paranormal investigation at the real Creel House. So the Stranger Things season 4 Creel House with Vecna and stuff, that's a real property in the state of Georgia. And I'm the first person.
Huge fan.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, are you? Okay, cool. So I'm the first person since Netflix to film inside this house.
Oh, nice.
And Stephanie did an investigation, and Stephanie is a medium, and she picked up on something immediately.
So I didn't realize that was like a real haunted house that they
we didn't know it was for sure or not. But Stephanie, I took her with me.
But it was a real historical property
it's a real historical property. It was owned by, I think, the governor of Georgia or something at one point. But and the gentleman that lived there, a couple, they said they had never felt anything before. But Stephanie walked in and she immediately felt drawn upstairs to a couch. And she didn't know it at the time, but come to find out, this couch was the only original piece of furniture inside the house.
Oh, wow.
And then when we started doing an investigation, we got like probably the most immediate response. I forget what it's called, the device that has the words on it.
The ovulus.
Yeah.
Yes. Ovulus. She had her ovulus, and that was like just reacting to what we were saying super quickly. And she felt like there was a young girl attached to this couch. And like I said, she didn't know at first, like that this was an original piece. And then the owners were like, that's so weird because the grandmother of the original owner just gave us that couch, and it was originally in the property.
It was originally there.
Yeah.
And isn't that so cool? Like when you can work with a medium and stuff like that, like starts to line up, and it's really mind blowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so basically you were in this home and she was drawn to this couch. The couch was just recently moved back in, and it was original piece of furniture from that house, and she picked up on it right away. And that's just
right away. I mean, the moment she walked in the door, she was like, there's something upstairs. And then we walked up there and she just immediately was like, there's something attached. but it wasn't any type of, and the home itself was incredibly warm and inviting, and like there was no like bad energy.
Yeah.
Vecna wasn't there.
Vecna wasn't there, even though I went up in the attic. I did go up in the attic by myself and film up there, but didn't see anything. But you know, it's such a beautiful property just in general. So, and actually everywhere I've gone except the Conjuring house, that was a little rundown. Everywhere I've gone is just like stunning. Like as far as the location itself, it's just like you're awestruck.
Yeah, we're gonna go some cool places this weekend to investigate that are really old. You're gonna say, Mike, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, like, just like even some of the bed and breakfasts up in North Florida, like we did the Denham house not long ago.
Monticello.
It was just so beautiful. Like she restored this place, and the inside is just immaculate. It was very beautiful.
Got that cupola upstairs where supposedly someone hung himself, and they say sometimes there used to be a guy that used to play violin up in there. And
you're forgetting the creepiest part. There was a doctor, I guess, that kept his bones up there
right underneath the cupola. There's like a little compartment area somewhere around there, but like it was weird. So I did some alone time up there, and I heard footsteps in the bottom of the stairs. It was just really wild.
Oh wow, yeah. I haven't heard footsteps yet, but I would say my most profound experience was definitely probably Bel Air, watching the investigators kind of experience what they did. But I personally had my first like brush with something at the Conjuring house. I did my first Estes session, and something touched my shoulder during the Estes session.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, we had Rob on the show not long ago from Get Haunted. That he's coordinates events and everything with the Conjuring house and other places, and he stopped investigating it for a while after he did the Conjuring house. He had something happened to him, and he didn't really get too into detail, but he quit for a while after investigating there.
He actually has like this. I don't know if you heard of the Panasonic DR60 recorder. It's like well sought after. It's like it used to be like $80 or like 5,000 on eBay. Everyone wants one. Well, he caught something so disturbing on his recorder that he got rid of it.
He got rid of it?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Well, he sold it, but he didn't want it anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty wild.
I'm not getting rid of mine.
No. I'm looking for stuff like that.
Right.
I would save it forever.
Yeah. I know.
I mean, you've seen some of the reaction videos I do. Some of those people have sent me, like I like curate those. I find them on the internet wherever, but I've been doing it for a couple of years now. So people send me their footage, and I just posted one of this toddler.
I just saw it. Yeah,
I saw that one. Yeah,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
it almost looked like something was trying to pull the box away from the toddler's hand.
Yeah,
and I was like, no.
Yeah, so that one was sent to me by, I guess her parent, and she was like, "If you want to post this, and let me know what people think." Yeah,
that was wild. I actually just checked it out. So actually, while we got a little break here, is a good time for us to run a few of our ads that we got to do.
We got to pay some bills, Blair.
I understand.
All right, cool. So this one is for our good buddy Dave Giuliano that owns a Ghost Hunter store. We're doing a little sponsorship with him. We'll run that.
What's up, my paranormal peeps? I'm Eric Vanderlaan, and I'm the host of War Party Paranormal Radio, and also the team leader of War Party Paranormal Research. And we got an exciting announcement to let you guys know tonight, and it involves stuff like this, and my co-host is going to tell you all about it.
What's up, guys? I'm Mike Del Coro with War Party, obviously. We are a technical team, and we always have people ask us, where can we get equipment like this? Well, you can get it from the ghosthunterstore.com. We got a nice little sponsorship worked out with them. We're going to be doing some giveaways, so stay tuned. Very, very cool, and go check them out at theghosthunterstore.com.
Peace.
And you guys know the drill. If you go to the website and you're checking out and you put in the promo code Ghost Gone Wild, you'll get a discount on your purchase. So make sure that you take advantage of that while you can. And then also,
real quick, we're gonna make a little announcement. What's going on this weekend, Mike? That's related to that.
Oh yeah, this weekend, guys. If you want to check us out, we're going to be over at the White Hill Mansion Paracon. A lot of great special guests. That's going to be, it's in New Jersey. It's going to be May 13th all day, and then a VIP ghost hunting event that night, and then a couple sexy guys there. Yeah, make sure you check that out and stay tuned for some footage of that afterwards.
Yep.
And then we're going to be filming up there at another location for our Paraflix episode. We'll release that as soon as we get a little bit more information and get that dialed in. But also, so we're going to run this, and then we'll talk one more quick thing about another episode that we got coming out. But this is Fuel Up.
What's up, my paranormal people? Eric and Mike here from the War Party Paranormal Radio Show, wanting you to remember the importance of hydration. Remember, we hunt ghosts. We don't want to turn into ghosts. Dehydration can lead to inflammation and even degenerative disease. So hydration is crucial.
Whether you're up all night investigating the paranormal, sky watching, or Bigfoot, Fuel Up hydration system is designed to support motivation, concentration, and rejuvenation with the best immune-enhancing delivery system available today.
Experience the benefits of Fuel Up with their Feel the Difference money-back guarantee.
Visit fuelup.gg/warparty for their special offer that includes free shipping. Fuel Up for life. Hey, Eric, how do we do?
It's awesome.
All right. Well, maybe we should stick to hunting ghosts. I don't know if commercials is our thing. True that.
I like me a good cowbell.
All right, guys. And then one more, and then we're back to it.
Very important announcement.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
this Thursday, and speaking about Florida locations and the unknown paranormal locations in Florida.
You'll like this one, Blair.
Yeah, exactly. We got a new episode coming out this Thursday. We switched it up a little bit. Normally it's on Friday. It's coming out this Thursday because it's May 11th, and it's the actual anniversary for crash of Flight 592, the Value Jet crash. And there's a memorial there that Eric and I decided to visit to see if we can get any activity, and it blew our minds.
Blew our minds away. The most active place we've been in a while.
I know there's been a lot of talk and a lot of investigations on the crash 401, but never have I seen anything on Flight 592. 110 people lost their lives in this flight.
Instantly.
I've wanted to go there for so long.
So here you go. You get a little quick sneak preview.
Awesome.
Good evening. As searchers wade through the muck of the Everglades, looking for any signs of the DC-9 that crashed there, and the 109 people who died.
Search crews make their way through the muck and swampy water. The wreckage scattered in bits and pieces everywhere. Among that wreckage, the remains of the 110 victims on board. The toughest job, removing those remains into a temporary morgue near the crash site.
So we have the EDI, which is going off like crazy. Look at that. I have no electronics on me.
That ball's going off, Eric.
What the? We're gonna have to find her. We also need to know your name.
Something fly. I heard fly in there. Blair
Guys, that looked really good. That looked really good.
How was my editing coming from a producer?
I was about to ask who edited that because that was really well done.
That man right there.
Hell yeah. I like the little echo on the news footage.
Yeah, you pick up on that, right? Because you're
hell yeah,
so that's
man.
cool. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. No, I really enjoy it. I always dabbled in it, but now that we're doing monthly episodes for
Yep.
Paraflix.
Mhm.
That's just
And it's just us two. We're doing our own filming.
It looks really good. And the I Can't Fly EVP
That was
gave me
Oh
chills.
yeah, that was wild.
Woo!
There's more too.
a lot
You
more.
gotta- yeah, so people, you got to watch it, and just remember, you can sign up and at least get a 3-day free trial. But it's affordable. You use our code, the Haunted Files 25, and $3.99 a month. That's
So it's
nothing.
$3.99 regularly, but if you use the code, it comes out to even cheaper. It's like
Exactly.
$30 or $40 a year. So
Yeah.
support us. Come check it out. All right, let's get back to it. So you know what? That you said you wanted to check that memorial out.
Yes, I've wanted to go there for a while now. Yeah.
Go on a
Yeah,
cool month. Our ass got torn up by mosquitoes.
A lot of mosquitoes. Like in the video, you'll see like
You hear them buzzing. You see
you
them
can
floating
see
around.
like it's so crazy. I'd never seen like, and I'm from Florida, and I used to gator hunt and do all kinds of stuff out in the Everglades. I don't know what it was, but I have never seen mosquitoes this bad. At one point, we just had to like call it. We're just like, we got to get out of here. Like we're gonna get malaria.
Damn.
But yeah, go prepared. That's for sure. Bring definitely a lot of bug spray.
No, it up.
Well,
We were there for quite a while, just getting chewed up, but we didn't care. We were getting crazy stuff. We didn't want to leave.
Well, so the thing about it is I was telling you earlier, like I'm usually by myself. So
Oh, there you go.
So I have to like, if I want to go to places like that, like I usually have to find somebody to go with because yeah, there's some places that just aren't safe for a woman to go.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's one of the places.
It was
I felt
funny, like before we were started like filming, and we got there a little early so I could fly my drone around, like when I was flying through the memorial and stuff. So I'm like, Eric, go drive the car in so I can get a shot of the car driving in. And I'm standing there by the memorial, and I got the first person view goggles on, and I'm just standing there by myself next to the memorial because he took the car. And I'm like flying the drone, and I hear a car pull up next to me and stop. And I'm like,
he didn't even peek.
Yeah, at first, and then I like kind of aimed the drone that way, and I was like,
wow.
And there's a Jeep and a guy standing there, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know. What are you doing?" And he's like, I'm like, "Oh, I didn't realize how crazy I look. I'm standing here with these goggles on, just standing in the middle of nowhere." And I was like, "I'm flying that drone right there," and I started talking to him. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd want to be out there by myself in some of these spots.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten
it's the people that are, more than anything.
Yeah, I've gotten very lucky, I would say. I mean, I've put myself in some precarious situations for sure, especially in Georgia, because I'm just always going out looking for whatever. I'm always in a cemetery somewhere.
All right. Well, you got 2 bodyguards if you ever need with paranormal equipment.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm telling you, next time I'm in
For
Florida
some crazy stuff.
for an extended period of time, I'll come down y'all's way and we'll do some stuff for sure.
Yeah, that whole area where that crash site was, there's like so many things in that area. I mean, you got sightings of Skunk Ape not too far from there. You got the Skunk Ape headquarters. You got Chokoloskee Key, where it's like an island, like it was all a Native American burial ground, but there's Ted Smallwood store. It was a shell mount, but there's the Ted Smallwood store, it's Everglades City. And that place is haunted. The locals like assassinated some dude that was like horrible right there by the store.
What's that highway too? The like haunted highway?
I-5.
Yeah.
Dead zone.
Yeah.
I-4. I-4. Was it I-4 dead zone? I-4?
I-4 is dead zone. Yeah.
From Orlando to Daytona, I think, or Cocoa Beach or something like that.
Yeah.
I think Cocoa,
east to west.
They built it over the top of some a cemetery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I want to do something
There's
there.
There's the Bellamy Bridge up in North Florida. The Dozer School for Boys.
Oh my God. Yes, I did research on that last year and I was prepping to do a doc about that. And the person I was doing it with, it fell through. But yes, I want to do something there. That story is insane.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And so many people don't know about it. Like,
I heard it's already halfway.
They tore down some of it, but the cemetery and some of the buildings are still there.
They still have the like makeshift little crosses for the boy. It's just,
it's disturbing.
It's disturbing. But that's what I'm saying. There's so many stories in Florida
A lot of it's like related to Native Americans that go back thousands of years ago. There's burial mounds like all over the place. Even some people seem to believe that the Mayans like had a presence here as well, and they have some mounds that are similar to that. And they go up to Georgia.
Yep, Georgia has a ton of Native American locations, and like I said, I have this running list of like 5,000 locations at this point.
Oh wow! Well, there's a lot.
I've got a lot to film.
Yeah, you got the Civil War. So many things happen.
And I've yet to do anything. My mother's side of the family, the whole family's from Appalachia, North Carolina.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I've yet to do anything up in the mountains.
Have you?
But got a running list for up there.
Have you done anything in Savannah? Yeah.
So actually, I would say my social media career started because of Savannah.
Oh, cool.
I love Savannah. I went not long ago with my buddy Joe that's on the team, and he's been there so much and is so fascinated about the place. It was like having my own paranormal tour guide. It was pretty awesome.
Did you go to the Grave Face Museum?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
So Grave Face was my first video that I did and posted to TikTok, and it got 4 million views overnight. And
oh, wow.
Like shared 32,000 times and 70,000 comments. And then it went viral, and I was like, hold up a minute. And actually, it was really special because Ryan Graveface, who owns it with his wife, and he also owns the Graveface Records. The guy owns like 50,000 businesses. He's a machine, but and he's so nice. But he contacted me about 6 months after my video release, and he's like, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that after that video came out, before it came out, we almost had to close our doors because of COVID. And after it came out, we had our busiest day in 7 years after your video."
Wow,
because
that's
people saw it, and like there was a line wrapped around the street, and he was like, "I just had to say thank you because it kind of saved us closing our doors." And I was like, that's incredible. Like the power of social media is just insane to me.
I know. Yeah. I totally agree with that.
They got some wild stuff in there, and that's for sure.
The serial killer room is Eileen Warnos's underwear.
I know. They have the original Jim Jones tapes.
Yeah, they have
the VHS tapes. What was that called?
The people's no, that's the other one. Oh my God.
If anybody in the chat, and that actually wasn't Kool-Aid, it was Flavor Aid that I learned.
Yeah.
And I learned when I was there because I was like, they had the packets, they had the actual packets. But what the hell was the name of his cult? Jim Jones. Anybody in the chat know? Anybody remember? Because I can't remember.
Is it the People's Temple of Jim Jones?
Something like that, yeah. Oh well, it might be.
I thought that might have been a song from Rage of the Machine. No, I'm just kidding. There's something Temple.
But yeah, no, that place is nuts. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. And that's the great thing about social media too. You know, a small business like that, you get it out there, and boom.
Yeah.
And Blair, we got another good serial killer spot as well. But it's been demolished, but it's the Broward Women's Correctional Facility. Eileen Warnos was locked up in there.
Yeah. Well, I almost went to the bar she was arrested at.
Yeah, we wanted to go there.
Yeah.
To Daytona.
Yeah. I forgot why I didn't go that day, but yeah, I wanted to go get a drink at that bar because apparently you could sit in the seat that she was arrested in,
and they have the shrine there, and supposedly they got paranormal activity. So she was a very I think there's more to her story than we'll probably ever know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, and she was locked up there, but she was executed up in Stark. But
yep.
I don't know if I got any evidence of her, but we did get evidence of female inmates. That's pretty wild. Like I heard my first woman disembodied voice there. And the wildest thing is that it's already been demolished. Like, I don't know, maybe like 5 years ago.
So it's just like rubble on the ground and like some overgrown, but it's still there.
And then the other half is like all new warehouses, but in the back, it's just like a field with rubble and stuff. And one of our teammates, JP, went there just during the day just to mess around and see if there's like any residual And he's like, man, you got to go over there. You got to check it out. So we went there at night, and I got a Class A EVP of a woman that said, someone please help me. It was just, and we were out in the middle of a field. It was just us 5 guys, no women nearby that could like say that voice. It was just crazy.
It was wild.
That's
And
trippy.
one other real quick thing to add to that is I was with Joe, and he's one of our team psychic mediums, and I was like, where should we go? And he's like, let's wander over here. I feel something kind of drawing me over here. And we started getting some activity. And Eric knows the building from when it was before it was demolished. And I pulled it up on Google Maps, and it still had the building there, like on Google Maps. So like even though we're in a field, the Google Maps.
We were where Death Row used to be.
Yeah, Joe took us. We didn't even know. It took us right to Death Row.
And I investigated Death Row when it was up, and that place was wild.
Wow. Yeah. Prisons in general are heavy experiences.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
And they always tear them down in Florida. It pisses me off. I mean, there was the Belglade Correctional Facility right by Lake Okeechobee, one of the most haunted places I ever investigated. I seen shadow figures, get my name called out. Someone on our team got, Bill Selvin right there in the chat. He's on he has a paranormal team in South Florida. He was there, got some wild stuff. He had one of our team members got something attached to him. There was the prison chapel, and people were doing satanic worship there, and like you could see like the candles and like the signs and all that, and you could like as soon as you walked in, you could feel this heavy feeling. Like I felt like I was getting pulled to the ground. But one of our teammates, like all this like bad stuff started happening to the point where he got injured and he had to sage his house. Something had followed him. It's pretty wild.
That's my greatest fear. I always tell people though, I feel like I have a little bit of a detachment when I go to places because I have the camera in front of my face the whole time. And it's like the seance at Bel Air. I was the only one that didn't have like an emotional breakdown that weekend. And I seriously believe it's because of my camera. And
see, I feel like I'm just that way in general.
but we do get drained after investigation. We're like exhausted.
And, you know, if there's, and especially if there's something really heavy going on, like I might say like, ooh, I feel a little, but very rare. I'm not very sensitive to things, but I've never had an experience.
You're so sensitive, Mike.
But yeah, I just feel like, and maybe that's true. Maybe it's the case. I'm always got a camera in my face too, because we're always filming each other and doing everything for the show. So it could be.
There's just a level of, detachment is the only way I can put it. Is like,
because you're not fully immersed.
Yeah, exactly.
Jinx.
And do you feel like you're sensitive to things?
I do. Actually, the show I was mentioning that I'm working on, that's kind of what it's about, is like finding my spirituality. I've been a staunch atheist my whole life, but I had my first like spiritual experience in 2020 when my aunt passed away. And I basically felt her soul go through me. And I had this just moment of clarity, like, okay, there's something more going on here. Like the plane that I am operating in is not
the only one.
And that's kind of when I started diving in. And but my mother's always been intuitive, and she has very strong dreams, and my grandmother as well. I think just women in general that are from the mountains, oddly, I feel like have a lot of spirituality and maybe more in touch with energy. But I feel like it's a muscle that you kind of have to train, just like anything else.
Yeah, for sure. I was just going to tell you that. By the way, Wheezy's she senses things as well.
Yeah.
I mean, cats are.
But anyway,
the underworld.
So when I got into paranormal as a skeptic, I just wanted to see if it was really real. And like, I used to be on another team previously to War Party. And I was all about the equipment and like trying to get evidence. I get all mad if I didn't get anything. And when I went to War Party, we have a very diverse group of people. We have people that practice Wiccan. We had a pastor on our team.
Cool.
People that are more into the scientific approach. We had a Reiki master, and they were just telling me, like, you know, you just got to feel the vibe. You got to go in there, and that's what I started doing. And more things started happening to the point where, like, it's like almost like now I feel like the places that I go to, like, regularly, I built a relationship with those spirits too. Like, I can say, "What's my name, Eric?" Like on a recorder or spirit box in some places. It's so I definitely think if you work on it, the stronger it gets. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm comfortable exploring those aspects of myself because, you know, something Becky Galantine taught me or exposed to me that didn't click before was you can't be like in a haze and try and do paranormal investigation or spiritual work or whatever. For instance, like you can't be drinking heavily or doing a lot of drugs or sleep deprived. Like you need to be whole as a person to kind of tap into that stuff.
Well, you'll like this. Our founder, she brings sweets. She'll bring like brownies and cookies and cake.
I mean, that's okay. But you know, I've dealt with my vices in my life, and I would say it's not been in that long that I've been, you know, sober, for instance, and I just wasn't in the right state of mind to kind of explore these things. And when she was explaining that to me, I was like, huh, that makes a lot of sense. So
yeah, it's a good thing. And it's good to like by doing it that way, it's a lot easier to open yourself up and like feel what's going on.
Totally.
Yeah, there'll be points too, like we'll go places and I'll be like, Eric, where you want to start, man? And he's like, I don't know, something. It's gonna feel like over here, and we'll go over there and we'll start.
It's my intuition. I just get pulled somewhere. I don't know. I can't explain it, and I'll just like follow it. Like I don't know. I want to come here and investigate, and sure enough, just like crazy stuff happens. Like all the stuff you'll see on our the Haunted Files episodes, like all that evidence is real. Like we get like
nothing
evidence.
Staged. Like we just wing it. Like we just go and investigate and film it.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to do it. And we get some. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that aren't legit and that fake their stuff, but we don't have to. I mean, it's crazy the stuff that we get.
Yeah, we do things a little unorthodox. Like we really don't have a plan. Like we go and investigate like we would normally investigate, and we do it so often and we work so well together that we just do it and it just works out. Like when we were at the jail, old Gilchrist County Jail. How about this? Right, the owner was telling us about how a guy hung himself. In one of the cells because his father was executed at another jail that same night. And all of a sudden
this wasn't random. I know this wasn't random.
Yeah, we were filming and like we go outside to take a break and there's a guy standing there, old country boy, and he's just standing there staring at the jail. And I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How can we help you? He's like, my whole family grew up around
my
here.
Granddaddy, my great granddaddy, all of it were locked up here for moonshine. And he said this was the first time he's been here, and he lives like, I don't know, like a few towns away. And he's like, I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to check it out.
He's like, something just drew me here today.
And here we are, like setting up to do an investigation. And later on, we were getting like evidence of those spirits, and
we found out that he was related to the guy that killed himself and the guy that was execucuted.
What? Yeah, that's wild.
Yep. The guy was executed, shot and killed the sheriff. He was telling the story about that. Excuse me.
I actually had kind of not as cool as that, but this girl I went to high school with actually reconnected with me 2 years ago in Jacksonville, and we went to Ronnie Van Zant's grave, the lead singer of Skinner.
I saw that.
And she was doing an investigation. I was filming her, and this woman just walks up out of nowhere. She's like, I knew Ronnie. And then she like joined the investigation. And then before we left, she asked Jess, she's like, can you contact my family? They're buried right over here. And so then we walked to the opposite end of the cemetery, and Jess talked to her family members. And it was just so random. I was like, what is happening?
Right.
Well, real quick, hold that thought real quick, but we have a little compliant thing to do. So we're at the hour where our listeners on the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network will be going to the next show. But if those listeners want to continue to watch us or listen to us, you can go on the War Party Paranormal YouTube page. And then the people here there in the chat and the ones that are on Facebook and our YouTube channel. If you haven't checked out KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network, they have amazing shows. It's not only our show. They have Bishop Long from Ghost Hunters. They have the MUFON. We talk about UFOs. They talk about cryptids. So check them out. Did I leave anything out?
No, sir. You did awesome.
Okay, so I'm done.
That actually kind of reminds me what you were just saying there too. Is Eric? I wasn't there for this, but remember when you guys were at that one cemetery and you were getting some activity from multiple gravestones?
Yeah, this is another example. So I'm with my partner Joe on the team, and we were all there with a bunch of people investigating a known cemetery that gets activity, and everyone left, and it was just Joe and I. It's my first time there, and we're just like wandering around. He's like, "Oh, so where do you want to go next?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm focusing on those like lights I see back there on the edge of the cemetery." So we walk over there, and it's 4 children that all died on the same day. They were like shape of an angel, like the tombstone, and they had like the solar power lights. And so we were like, I don't know, I just feel drawn to this place. So we started putting out cat balls and meters and doing an EVP session. At the same time, I'm going live on IG, and we're getting responses of one of the boy that passed away there that's buried. We had like one of those cat balls that lights up when you touch it. And it was like going off on cue, and we were getting EVPs of him. So at the end of the live and later on after the investigation, I get a message saying, "Hey, I was on your live, and I know that family. They're my cousins that died in a car accident. And the boy that was playing with the ball used to love baseball. He played a lot of baseball." And she said that watching that just gave me such like ease and comfort and peace of knowing that they're okay. And that just like blew my mind. I don't even know this person. Just some random person on my live.
Yeah, how weird is that, right? Just randomly scrolling through lives and happen to see that,
I mean, that's what I mean when I had that experience with my aunt and kind of like coming to terms for the first time in my life. Like there's something more than what we know.
These can't all be coincidences, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's beautiful when things like that happen. I also find it fascinating when I've done lives, like people can feel the energy through their screens.
Oh, yeah.
And even with some of my videos, people are like, they're like, something very bad happened at that place. And I'm like, yeah, actually, this is the story. Somebody was murdered here or whatever.
Well, you remember you posted the one, the Jewish concentration camp. And I made a comment.
Guernsey.
Yeah, I made a comment like just by looking at that picture, I could just feel it. I'm like, I know that place. Like, there's voices screaming there.
So it wasn't a concentration camp. It's the largest underground hospital in Europe that was built by the Nazis during World War II on the island of Guernsey.
Okay.
And a bunch of slaves basically died there building this hospital. And it's fully intact. You can tour it. And we did a full tour with the lights on and then a full tour with the lights off. And it's incredibly heavy, and
you can just feel
that
it
was
from
a tough
your post.
That was a tough one. Guernsey is, you guys are talking about going to Europe, have to go to Guernsey. It's one of the most interesting, haunted, spiritual places I've ever been. So they had the largest witch trials in the UK on this island. So they're very known for witchcraft on this island, but also they have a ton of fairy lore, mermaid lore, pirate lore. But then they have all these incredible haunted locations like the underground hospital because the the Germans occupied the island during World War II, and they still have all the structures that they built on this island. So it's an incredible place. So
underground Nazi haunted hospital. That sounds right up my alley.
it was so Fright Scene, the series I'm doing for Something Scary. One of the episodes is or two of the episodes actually are on the island. So you'll get to see some of that footage.
Heck yeah.
And the Haunted Files team travels overseas to investigate.
Yeah, you have to.
So we're at that time of the show where you just shout out all the stuff about you, what you want people to know about you. I believe you said some of that earlier, but you can just say whatever you like.
Always down to self-promote. Yeah, so Blair Bathory on all social channels. I post almost daily. I try to post daily on pretty much everything. I post, paranormal videos and documentaries, have longer documentaries coming out. Yeah, just watch my stuff because I'm literally always working on something.
Yeah, their IG is awesome. I'm like every time he shows something, I'm like, oh man, I want to go that place. I want to go that place. I want to go that place. I'm like so jealous.
That means so much. Thank you.
No, yeah, awesome job.
It's been an honor, because my background is filmmaking. So getting into the paranormal world and meeting, folks like yourself and all these incredible investigators and mediums and, everybody in this world has been really cool. And it's been fun.
Well, just remember, you still got an open invitation to come down here. So you just hit us up whenever you're ready. And
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
We'll have to do a little collab or something.
Absolutely. That'd be so fun.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be great. All right, folks. And if you guys want to see any of my personal content, you could check out my website. It's FLA-paranormalresearcher.com, and it has links to all my social media, bios, blog, and stuff like that. And most active probably on Instagram, I would say. And then obviously check out warpartyparanormal.com for any of our upcoming events that we host here locally in South Florida. And that's it for me.
And don't forget, May 11th, this Thursday, 9 p.m. on Paraflix, the flight of the Value Jet crash. So don't miss that. Also, we're not going to be on air next week because we'll be at our event. So we're going to be busy with that, but we'll be back. And we'll be at the White Hill Mansion Paracon. So all you local people in Philly or New Jersey, come check us out. And it's super cheap. So it'll be a great day. And like Mike said, everything's linked to warpartyparanormal.com, the Haunted Files, our team. And more importantly, you people that are out there, if you're local, if you need help in the paranormal, that's what we do. We just had a case last weekend. Amazing couple. I swear it was a breath of fresh air, because before, like all these other investigations we were going to, the people were nuts. But these people were like good-hearted people. They actually like made dinner for us. And
that's awesome.
The best feeling in the world was when we left there. We gave them peace of mind. We felt like, we were able to resolve the problem that they were having there. And if it comes back, we'll come back because the lady cooks really good. No, I'm just not joking, but we'll come back and we'll be more than happy to help them out. And anyone that needs help in the paranormal, we're non-for-profit. We don't charge a dime. So reach out to us. You can do it at the website. You can message one of us individually. We're always out there to help people, and that's the main reason why we do this.
Correct.
And all you folks in the chat, thanks for hanging out. And if you're new, like and subscribe. More Party Paranormal YouTube, and tell all your friends about it, and watch our shows. We got great guests. And me personally, you can find me at Ghost Hunter South Florida on IG, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I think that covered everything. And thank you, Blair. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, Blair.
Thank you, guys.
Pleasure. All right, guys. Keep it spooky, and we'll see you not next Monday, but the following Monday.
Peace.
Sweet.